Tyson Fury has apparently revealed his game plan for Dillian Whyte and also what he intends to do about the body snatcher's big left hook. So he said, I'm going to tell you the game plan. Straight out the block, straight to the middle of the ring, push him back straight away. Big heavy artillery from round one and see how long he can take it for without being hit back. He goes on to say he's got a good counter left hook. It's not a single jumping left hook, or it's not like a 1-2 and a left hook. It's more of a catch the right hand, come back with a left hook. But in order to catch the right hand, it's going to detonate on him. So he's catching it when it hits him on the glove. You know, if you put your hands up like that in an earmuff defense, it still hurts when the punch lands, doesn't it? When you get punched and you block it like that, you punch right through the guard in devastating fashion. So block that, take that right hand right to the face. So those are the words of Tyson Fury. Now, Fury, of course, sparred Dillian Whyte many times back in the days. I'm sure he's watched Dillian Whyte fight on many occasions over the past few years. And he's also close friends with Joseph Parker, who fought Dillian Whyte in a professional bout. And Joseph Parker knows all about that hair trigger, catch and shoot, or catch and counter, if you prefer, left hook that Dillian Whyte possesses. So I'm sure they've had conversations, and Joseph Parker has told him about what his experience was like in the ring against Dillian Whyte and perhaps what Tyson Fury should watch out for. Now, as far as Tyson Fury's solution to this left hook of Dillian Whyte's, it's a risky thing to do, to try and just not worry at all about the left hook coming back because you feel like your shot's going to hurt him. You feel like your shot is going to discombobulate him, knock him out, drop him, drive him back. And therefore, the left hook that comes back, if it comes back at all, ain't going to have much on it, or it's not going to be accurate, etc., etc. Risky strategy. But again, we don't know whether Tyson Fury's actually serious about this. He is the master of mind games. The genius of Tyson Fury really is that he keeps people guessing. You never really know what he's going to do. He can come out and say, yeah, I'm going to meet you at the center of the ring. We're going to trade heavy leather. Doesn't necessarily mean he's going to do it. Sometimes he will do it. And of course, he's done it in the past when I certainly didn't expect him to do it, when most people didn't expect him to do it. That's exactly what he did, like in the Deontay Wilder rematch, in the second fight I'm talking about. I'm sure Tyson Fury still has a few tricks up his sleeve. He still has some misdirection up his sleeve, whereby he can make us think that he's going to fight like that again. But actually, he's planning to box. He's planning to keep it long range and so on. So what's going to happen here? You guys let me know what you think in the comment section below. Will Tyson Fury do exactly as described and just go in there, take it to Dillian Whyte, push him back, hit him with the right hand, not even worry about the counter left hook that comes back? Is that a risky strategy, or is he so big and so strong these days and under Javon Sugar Hill, aka Sugar Hill Stewart, is he just going to be able to do what he wants in this fight? Is he going to be able to beat Dillian Whyte in any way he sees fit? Or will this actually backfire? Now, some people might say a more sensible way of dealing with Dillian Whyte's left hook is simply to feint the right hand, to draw that left hook out and then throw your right hand after you've drawn his left hook. Because Dillian Whyte does tend to swing hard with that left hook, sometimes swings himself off balance. So there perhaps would be the opportunity to counter his left hook when he tries to counter you as he goes for your feint. But with the catch and shoot, a lot of the time these fighters are so conditioned to actually catching the punch first, to the punch landing on their left hand or their left glove first before they throw the hook, that they won't go for any feints. Is that the case with Dillian Whyte? I'd have to go back and study more of his fights and see specifically if he goes for feints when people feint with the right hand and that left hook comes out, or whether he always waits for there to actually be a connection on his left arm or his left glove before he throws his hook. So you guys let me know what you think about that in the comments below. Would that be a more sensible way of dealing with Dillian Whyte's hook rather than just trying to punch through the guard and not even care about what Dillian Whyte is throwing back or intends to throw back? Personally, I think that it's not just Dillian Whyte's left hook he's got to watch out for. It's also Dillian Whyte's jab. Dillian Whyte has an underrated jab. A lot of people say this, but it's true. A lot of people don't really think about Dillian Whyte's jab that much. But if you watch him in fights, even against taller opponents, the jab is effective. In fact, that's what really won him the fight against Robert Helenius, was his jab. Early on in the fight, him and Helenius were kind of trading jabs and seeing who could establish theirs. And it ended up being Dillian Whyte's jab that was the dominant jab, the most effective jab throughout the course of that 12-round bout. And Robert Helenius is a very similar height to Tyson Fury. So Fury, yeah, he can talk about pushing Dillian Whyte back, this, that, and the other, but he's going to have to contend not only with a hair trigger left hook, but also with a jab. And Dillian Whyte sets up the left hook with that jab. Tyson Fury has to be mindful of that as well. Now, Dillian Whyte's right hand isn't as prolific as the hook. He's hurt a few people with the right hand, but he doesn't tend to lean into it. He doesn't tend to get the kind of leverage on the right hand these days that he used to when he was under Jonathan Banks. There was a couple fights he had under Jonathan Banks, and I noticed the right hand seemed to be better in those fights. These days, he doesn't really throw it in the same way, doesn't get the same leverage into it. He does counter quite well with it, as we saw against Derek Chisora in their rematch. In the first round, he actually hurt Derek Chisora with a counter right hand over Chisora's jab. So will Tyson Fury have to watch out for that? Possibly, but when Dillian Whyte has to cover distance with his right hand, when he has to throw it at long range, it tends to be a wide arcing shot, almost like he's bowling a cricket ball. Is that going to be effective against Tyson Fury? That right hand hasn't landed on many people. When Dillian Whyte throws that big arcing overarm right, it barely ever lands on anyone. So is it going to land on Tyson Fury? Maybe it will be his lucky day, and he will manage to finally land that wicket busting, cricket bowling type right hand on Tyson Fury. But who knows? I'll leave it with this. I did a poll on my YouTube channel yesterday asking people what percentage chance they gave Dillian Whyte of winning this fight. And it was quite interesting. Perhaps I'll do a separate video about it. But there was, I want to say, between 30 and 40% of people, or excuse me, not 30 and 40%, the majority of people feel like Dillian Whyte had between a 30 and 40% chance. That's what it seems to be. I'll check it and perhaps do another video about it. But last I looked at it, most people were picking, were giving Dillian Whyte between a 30 and 40% chance. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below about everything I've talked about in this video. If you're tired of the biased narratives and mass censorship on mainstream platforms, and you want to be part of a community of critical thinkers who love free speech just as much as you do, then come and join me on Patreon and access my weekly no-holds-barred, censorship-free podcast where we lift the lid on a wide variety of controversial topics. It's not mainstream friendly, it's not politically correct, but that's the whole point. We dare to stand as a beacon of reason against an army of insanity. Just head on over to my Patreon page and select the tier called Hatman Hot Topics. You'll gain access to a minimum of 2 hours of exclusive content every single week, including podcasts, videos, interviews, live stream Q&As, as well as my popular Confessions of a Nightclub Bouncer series. Not to mention a vast back catalog of hundreds of hours of previous episodes. You can listen via the Patreon app with the option to download in high quality MP3. We've also got an Element group where you can come and chat and hang out with myself and other members. Unlike Discord, it has full end-to-end encryption, is decentralized, and it's 100% censorship free. You can also send voice notes as well as much larger audio and video files than you can on Discord. So come and sign up on Patreon. There's no contract, there's no commitment. You can cancel at any time, and it's cheaper than a cup of coffee. So I'll see you over there. I'm out.